Hello friends, welcome to the Anatomy Hub. Today we will discuss the special senses and their neural pathways. So for this reason we will have a lecture series of every special sense pathway. So as you know that there are 5 types of special senses, like your sense of smell, sense of vision, sense of sound or hearing, sense of balance and sense of taste. So the special sense, they have the highly specialized receptors which provide specific information about the environment. That is, they respond to only one type of stimulus, not more. In general sensation, the receptors, they receive many more stimulus, whereas the special sense gets only one specific stimulus. These receptors are located close to the brain and are well protected within the skull. Their responses are more complex but well coordinated within the brain, and the special senses of smell and taste, they depend on the chemoreceptors, whereas the vision depends upon the photoreceptors, and sound and balance, they depends on the mechanoreceptors. So today we will start the first lecture about the olfactory system or the smell. In lower vertebrate and many mammals such as dog, the sense of smell is highly developed and they are called the macrosmatic. In humans, the sense of smell is less developed, hence they are called microsmatic. The olfactory system that transmits the sense of smell from the olfactory epithelium, that is present over here, of the nasal mucosa to the olfactory cortex of the brain towards the olfactory bulb. So these structures that you can see here, they included in the olfactory system, that is the olfactory epithelium, the olfactory bulb and the stria, and olfactory cortical areas. The olfactory epithelium that you can see here, so these olfactory epithelium, they are the specialized nasal epithelium which lines the superior 1/3 part of the nasal cavity, including the roof of the nasal cavity. It consists of 3 types of cells: the olfactory receptor cells, the supporting cells, and the progenitor cells, or you can say the basal cells. Here you can see the cellular components, that here you will find the mucous layer on the epithelium, then you will find the microvilli of the supporting cells, and these are the main olfactory receptor cells. They are actually the modified bipolar neurons, and within the supporting cells you will find the olfactory vessels and the olfactory hair, and at the base you will find the basal cells, or you can say these basal cells are otherwise known as the progenitor cells, and here you will find the basement membrane, and these are the olfactory nerves. Okay, and here you will find the olfactory gland, and here you can see in the anterior cranial fossa, you will find this cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone, and here you will find the foramen through which the olfactory nerve they passes upward and reaches towards the olfactory bulb. So at the olfactory bulb, that you will find the periglomerular cells that you can observe here, and you will find the olfactory glomeruli and the periglomerular cells, and here these cells they are just connected with the mitral cells that you can observe over here, and here you will find some stellate cells. So these olfactory glands, they are otherwise known as the Bowman's gland, and these fibers they are all together they form a tract. So this tract is your olfactory tract. Then here at the on the junction on the way to the olfactory tract, here you will find the anterior olfactory nucleus. So the olfactory receptor cells, they are in fact the modified bipolar cells, or you can say the bipolar neurons, and lie vertically between the supporting cells. Here you will find the supporting cells. So every supporting cells they supports this olfactory receptor cells. Okay, these are the basal cells and these are the supporting cells, and these are the olfactory receptor cells. They dendrites they extend as naked process towards the free surface of the epithelium, where they end by forming the bulbous enlargement. So this bulbous enlargement is called as the olfactory vesicles, that you can observe over here also. These vesicles possesses the cilia, that is the olfactory hair, which lie in the thin mucous film covering the epithelial surface. So the supporting cells they present many microvilli towards the free surface of the epithelium. The mucous film covering the olfactory epithelium is secreted by the olfactory glands, or you can say the Bowman's gland, and the microvilli of the supporting cells. So the airborne molecules that enter the nasal cavity and are dissolved in the mucosal films, and the odor is the smell that producing molecules release and bound to the receptor cells. So the olfactory cilia react by depolarizing and initiating the action potentials in the receptor cells. The olfactory receptors of the olfactory epithelium, they are actually neurons. So this is the only site in the body where neurons are exposed to the surface of the body. The receptor cells continuously degenerate and are renewed by the progenitor cells, or you can say the basal cells. So the ability to regenerate primary sensory neurons is unique to the mammalian nervous system. The axons of receptor cells are fine unmyelinated fibers, and they ascend and collect to form about 20 bundles. They are called as the olfactory nerve. So these olfactory nerve they pass through the foramina of the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone to enter the anterior cranial fossa, where they terminate in the olfactory bulb. So you see the olfactory bulb that you can observe here. So this olfactory bulb is a flattened oval mass of grey matter that lying just above the cribriform plate, and it consists of outer cortical zone and inner medullary zone. So here you can see some of the olfactory structures related to the anterior part of the base of the brain. Here you can see the structures on the inferior aspect of the brain in the area surrounding to the optic nerve and the optic chiasma and the optic tracts in the area surrounding to the optic nerve. So here you will find the interpeduncular fossa, and many of these structures they are related to the olfactory and towards the limbic system. The cortical zone they contains the olfactory glomeruli and nerve cells which form the most of the prominent cellular component of the olfactory bulb. So the nerve cells of the olfactory bulb they mainly comprise the mitral cells, the tufted cell which are analogous but very smaller than the mitral cells. Then you will find the stellate cells that you will find over here, and you will find the periglomerular cells. So here you will find the periglomerular cells. So the medullary zone that consists of nerve fibers of the olfactory tract and a small group of nerve cells that situated at the transitional zone between the olfactory bulb and the olfactory tract that constitute the anterior olfactory nucleus. So the olfactory bulb that continues posteriorly is the olfactory tract that you can observe over here, and divides into medial and lateral olfactory stria that you can observe here, and the point of bifurcation is expanded and form the olfactory trigon that you can observe over here also. So the medial and lateral olfactory stria they are intimately related to the anterior perforated substance, and from its anteromedial end and the anterolateral end that makes the boundaries, and the intermediate stria that is sometimes present over here, and it extends from the center of the trigon to the anterior perforated substance. Where it sinks into the base of the olfactory tubercle, which is small elevation of the anterior perforated substance immediately caudal to the olfactory trigon. Posterolaterally, the anterior perforated substance is related to the uncus of the brain, while the posteromedially it is bounded by a small bundle of fibers called as the diagonal band of Broca. So the olfactory cortical areas, the primary olfactory cortex that lies between the anterior perforated substance and the uncus, and the entorhinal area that comprising the uncus and the anterior part of the parahippocampal gyrus that is often termed as the secondary olfactory area. So we will see the neural pathways of the olfaction. So the axons of the olfactory receptors cells they carrying the olfactory sensation from the olfactory epithelium, that is known as your first order sensory neurons. They collect to form a small bundle of olfactory nerves which pass through the cribriform plate of the ethmoid bone to enter the olfactory bulb, where they terminate in the olfactory glomeruli. The glomeruli are formed by the axons of receptor cells and the dendrites of mitral and the tufted cells. These cells are the second order sensory neurons in the olfactory pathway. Each glomerulus receives impulses from about 26,000 receptor cells and passes the information to the olfactory cortical area through the mitral and tufted cells. So most of the axons of mitral cells, they form the lateral olfactory stria and run to the primary olfactory cortex on the same side, which is located between the anterior perforated substance and the uncus on the inferomedial surface of the temporal lobe. The other that run via the intermediate olfactory stria to connect the olfactory tubercle, and hence this is the limbic system. The axon of the tufted cell, they run medially and towards the medial olfactory stria and cross the midline in the anterior commissure to form the synapse with the granule cells that is present over here in the opposite to the olfactory bulb. So here we should note that in contrast to all other sensory pathways, the fiber of second order sensory neurons, there is the primary olfactory cortex directly without relay in one of the thalamic nuclei, or it is equivalent nucleus like lateral geniculate body. The entorhinal area, or you can say the Brodmann's area 28, they receives few or no tracts directly, but receives fibers profusely from the primary olfactory cortex. Hence, it is sometimes called like the secondary olfactory cortex. So, unique features of the olfactory pathway is that it consists of only two neurons, whereas other conscious sensory pathways consist of at least three neurons: first order, second order and third order. But in olfactory you will find only two neurons, that is the first order and the second order. Then another specific feature is that the olfactory impulses are transmitted directly to the cerebral cortex without relay in the thalamus. Then we will discuss some clinical correlations. So if you will find a tumor, that is your at the meninges in the floor of the anterior cranial fossa, that may compress the olfactory bulb and tract, and that interfere with or the cause of loss of smell to the same side only. So that's why the important to taste or smell through each nostril is important. So the sectioning of the anterior commissure, that impairs the sense of smell. The sense of smell that contributes significantly to the sense of taste. The sensation of delicious food, that is in fact an appreciation of aromas through the olfactory system. So persons who have lost their sense of smell often complain of the loss of taste. So this phenomenon can be demonstrated by pinching one's nose to close the nasal passages while trying to taste something with olfaction blocked, it becomes difficult for a person to distinguish between the taste of piece of apple and a piece of potato, because the receptor cells themselves are the first order sensory neurons and the receptor cells are exposed to the surface of the body. So friends, here we have completed the olfactory system and its pathway. So in next video we will study about the visual pathway. So thanks for watching. Please like, share and subscribe and press the bell icon to get the new videos. So thank you.